In this video, I'm going to share with you a number of ways you can significantly increase your chances to do well in behavioral interviews. The first topic I'd like to talk about here would be to follow the rules to the extent that they are to your advantage. To give a number of examples here, in a behavioral interview, you're encouraged to use metrics. My question to you is, does a metric help in selling yourself as the best candidate? And just to give an example here, latest iPhone has a better battery life than the previous version. However, if you'll notice in Apple's recent announcement, they never quantified by how much. The reason why they didn't quantify it, because that's not the main thing, that's not the feature of this. Well, similarly, in your answers, you may want to use one metric, that's the most representative one, but you should stay away from presenting metrics which are not selling yourself as the best candidate. The second example here would be the STAR format. Right, so it is good advice to use the STAR format to answer interview questions for most people, because it provides an interface, a way that you are understood better by the employers. Now, on the other side, there's probably better ways you could sell yourself in a job interview than using the STAR answer, such as, for instance, compressing the situation and task into one. Situation and task in one paragraph, one introduction, and the action, then the results. Okay, or you could add an introduction to your answer, or you could add some learnings to it, or you could even replace the task with a challenge, to make it a bit more dramatic. This is how you could also improve the way you're selling yourself this job interview. And the third example here, with respect to the rules in behavioral interviews, is it is common advice that you have to be specific in your answer, such as to say when something happened. Right. So, for example, 3 years ago, I did this, and that. Now, the definition of a behavioral interview is that they look at your past experiences, so they can predict your future performance on the job. Right. So, the more recent your past experiences are, the more predictable your performance on the job. Now, take the following scenario here. What if your best story happened 5 years ago? Right? What will you do? Will you use a bad story to sell yourself in a job interview? Not really. You would want to use your best story. So then, instead of saying 5 years ago I was doing this, and that, maybe just say, my greatest achievement, my greatest professional success was, while working there in this role. If they're interested in when this happened, they could always follow up with these things, right? So this was on the idea on following the rules, but if they are to your advantage, right? The second topic I'd like to talk about here when it comes to improving your chances to pass behavioral interviews is that to read between the lines of the question you're getting asked. In a behavioral interview, there's always a reason why someone would ask you a question. And if you answer the behavior, what they're actually interested in that question, you are far more likely to bias them towards you in a job interview. To give an example, if someone would ask you something on the lines of, Dan, what's your most recent invention? Right? And the reactive answer would be, oh, what did I invent the most recently? And you could find something that you did last week, something insignificant, and you would say it on the spot. Now, compare that type of answer with an answer slightly reframed on the lines of, what's the best invention you can present for this job interview, for the role that you're applying for, and for the interviewer that you're speaking to? And chances are your best invention might differ from something insignificant that you've only done last week. Right? So when presenting your best story, your answer will have a greater impact towards the interviewer, and therefore significantly increasing your chances to bias them towards you in these job interviews, right? So read between the lines of the question you're getting asked, because this does pay off. Listening skills is something hugely important in behavioral interviews. And the third topic I'd like to talk about here, something that not many people realize, is that the number one challenge people report about behavioral interviews is that they take a ton of time to prepare, right? You only have a finite amount of time to prepare your job interview. Oftentimes that's not enough, and the simple solution to this problem is that oftentimes two heads are better than one to prepare a job interview. Right? So if you, by employing someone's help to prepare a job interview, you basically save even if only a bit of time, but you do save time in that process. And furthermore, why not even improve your interviewing skills through actions such as role play? Right? So two heads are better than one, especially when preparing a behavioral interview, which is a time-consuming endeavor. Right? So I hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.